Hi, You Can Heal family. Good morning. It's time for us to read our Old Testament chapter, and we are in 1 Samuel, looking at chapter 26. Now, if you missed the live last night, it was really interesting because we read about David getting married, and the story leading up to it was quite scandalous to me. So if you haven't heard chapter 25, go back and listen to that to get yourself caught up. And today we're reading about how David is sparing Saul's life again, because in chapter 24 we learned that he had the opportunity to take him out, and he did not do that. He chose to stay in line with God's plan for his life. So let's get to it. Let's look and see what chapter 26 has for us this morning. Now, some messengers from Ziph came back to Saul at Gibeah to tell him David is hiding on the hill of Keilah, which overlooks Jeshimon. So Saul took 3,000 of his best troops and went to hunt him down in the wilderness of Ziph. Saul camped along the road beside the hill of Keilah near Jeshimon, where David was hiding, but David knew of Saul's arrival. So he sent out spies to watch his movements. Now, in chapter 24, we read that David spared Saul's life, and Saul and David had a conversation, but that was short-lived. Saul is after him again. So watch your back. What do they say? Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer, because Saul is coming for David. Verse 5, David slipped over to Saul's camp one night to look around. Saul and his general Abner, son of Ner, were sleeping inside a ring formed by the slumbering warriors. Will anyone volunteer to go in there with me? David asked. Ahimelech the Hittite and Abishai, son of Zeruiah, Joab's brother. I'll go with you, Abishai replied. So David and Abishai went right into Saul's camp and found him asleep, with his spear stuck in the ground beside his head. Oh gosh, what's going to happen? Abner and the warriors were lying asleep around him. God has surely handed your enemy over to you this time, Abishai whispered to David. Let me thrust that spear through him. I'll pin him to the ground, and I won't need to strike twice. Oh, so homeboy was going to go in hard and fast. He said, I will not need to strike twice. Oh, that's so brutal. In verse 9, no, David said, don't kill him, for who can remain innocent after attacking the Lord's anointed one? Surely the Lord will strike Saul down someday, or he will die in battle or of old age. But the Lord forbid that I should kill the one he has anointed. But I'll tell you what, we'll take his spear and his jug of water and then get out of here. So David came up with all these other scenarios of how he could die. He said in his sleep, he'll die in the battlefield, he'll die of old age, but he was not going to mess with God's anointed. So David took the spear and jug of water that were near Saul's head. Then he and Abishai got away without anyone seeing them or even waking up, because the Lord had put Saul's men into a deep sleep. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. So there may be people around you who are out to get you, who want to sabotage that promotion you've got coming, whatever the case may be, but the Lord's in the business of putting people to sleep. So they can't mess with you. That's why God's in control of everything. Don't worry about people around you. God sees you and knows what's up. David climbed the hill opposite the camp until he was at a safe distance. Then he shouted down to Abner and Saul, "Wake up, Abner." "Who is it?" Abner demanded. "Well, Abner, you're a great man, aren't you?" David taunted. "Where in all Israel is there anyone as mighty? So why haven't you guarded your master, the king, when someone came to kill him?" This isn't good at all. I swear by the Lord that you and your men deserve to die, because you failed to protect your master, the Lord's anointed. Look around. Where are the king's spear and jug of water that were beside his head? Oh, jeez, David, you gotta get these digs in, don't ya? I should wake up Abner. Who is it? I don't think David ever answered Abner when he said, "Who is it?" David just got right to talking. But look at in verse 17. It said Saul recognized David's voice and called out, "Is that you, my son David?" And David replied, "Yes, my lord the king. Why are you chasing me? What have I done? What is my crime? But now let my lord the king listen to his servant. If the Lord has stirred you up against me, then let him accept my offering. But if this is simply a human scheme, then may those involved be cursed by the Lord. For you have driven me from my home, so I can no longer live among the Lord's people and worship as I should. Must I die on foreign soil, far from the presence of the Lord? Why has the king of Israel come out to search for a single flea? Why does he hunt me down like a partridge on the mountains?" And the next section is Saul admits his guilt. Then Saul confessed, "I have sinned. Come back home, my son, and I will no longer try to harm you, for you valued my life today. I have been a fool and very, very wrong." Now, are we going to believe Saul and this confession? Verse 22, "Here is your spear, O king," David replied. "Let one of your young men come over and get it. The Lord gives his own reward for doing good and for being loyal, and I refuse to kill you, even when the Lord placed you in my power, for you are the Lord's anointed one." Oh, goodness, I can't turn the page. Hold on. Now, may the Lord... Wait a minute, that didn't make sense. Did I skip a page? I sure did. Please forgive me. This is a lot going on. So the last thing we read was, "I refuse to kill you." This is David talking. "Even when the Lord placed you in my power, for you are the Lord's anointed one. Now may the Lord value my life, even as I have valued yours today. May he rescue me from all my troubles." And Saul said to David, "Blessings on you, my son David. You will do heroic deeds and be a great conqueror." Then David went away, and Saul returned home. And that concludes chapter 26. So, it looks like Saul is finally done chasing down David, but we'll see. On the next chapter 27 is David joins with the Philistines. So tomorrow we're going to look at chapter 27 and 28, because it's a pretty short chapter, and see how the story keeps unfolding. So thank you for reading with me today, studying the Word, and getting closer to God. We'll talk soon. Always remember, true healing begins with self-love. Why? Because God is love and he lives on the inside of you. Bye.